All right, we are starting lesson 2.5. We're going to solve multi-step equations. We're on page 154, so if you're not there yet, please pause the video and get there. Okay, so we're going to solve multi-step equations, which means there's going to be multi-steps. And I'm going to show you 3 different kinds of equations that you might encounter. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one. 5 times a minus 7 equals 25. So anytime you have anything on the outside of a set of parentheses, you have to apply a distributive property first. So you're going to take 5 and distribute it to the a and to the negative 7. So you're going to multiply. 5 times a is 5a. 5 times a negative 7 is negative 35. And then bring down the rest of your problem. Okay, so now I have this term that has an a and these two that are regular numbers. So I need to move the 35 over to the other side to combine it with its like term. So I'm going to add 35 to both sides. So these two cancel out because they're opposites, and I'm going to bring down what's left. These are both positive, so I'm going to add. So I have 60. Now this next to this means multiply, so I'm going to do the inverse and divide. So 5 divided by 5 is 1a, and 60 divided by 5 is 12. All right, so this is what you call one solution. If you are able to solve your equation and get an answer, no matter if it's a whole number, a fraction, a decimal, then this is one solution. Okay, this is the first kind of equation that you will encounter. Okay, now here's the second kind of equation. Let's take something a little longer. 6 times x minus 3 plus 10 equals 2 times 3x minus 4. Okay, so now we actually have a lot of work to do on both sides. We are first going to distribute the 6 to these two terms. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. Bring down the plus 10 and equals. And now we're going to do the exact same thing with this 2. We're going to distribute it to these terms. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Now, what I want to do is I actually want to combine these two. These are like terms on the same side of the equal sign. So I'm going to bring down the 6x, and I'm going to add negative 18 plus 10, except because the signs are different, I actually subtract and use the sign of the bigger number. So when I combine these two numbers, I have negative 8 left, equals 6x minus 8. Okay, so now, if you notice, the left side is exactly the same as the right side. 6x, 6x, negative 8, negative 8. So this is what you call an identity. Both sides are identically the same, so we call this an oops, I'm spelling that wrong. Identity. This is called an identity, and that means there will be infinitely many solutions. Oh, what am I doing? Infinitely many solutions. Okay, there we go. Or you might see it as all real numbers. That means any number that you plug in for x will give you the exact same solution on both sides. So let's say that you didn't realize this and you kept solving. Okay, so let's add 8 to both sides. So these opposites cancel each other out, and I have 6x left over here. These opposites cancel each other out, and I have 6x left over here. So again, I'm left with a true statement, 6x equals 6x. This statement was true up here, but maybe if you didn't notice that and you kept solving, 6x equals 6x, that's true. And then maybe if you decided to solve even further and divide both sides by 6, 6 divided by 6 is 1x, and 6 divided by 6 is 1x. So no matter how much you keep solving this, you are going to continually end up with a true statement. So again, when you end up with a true statement, then your answer is infinitely many solutions are all real numbers. Okay, and let's take a look at the very last kind of a problem that you might solve. Okay, so we have 8 times 4 minus 2x equals 4 times 3 minus 5x plus 4x. All right, so now, again, let's take care of the distributive property first. So 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times negative 2x is negative 16x. Okay, again, distributive property here that we need to take care of first. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times a negative 5x is negative 20x. Bring down that 4x. All right, so now I want to look for like terms on the same side. These two are like terms on the same side, and so I'm going to combine those, which means I'm going to add, except this is negative 20x plus 4x. So I'm actually going to subtract and use the sign of the bigger number. So I have 32 minus 16x equals 12 minus 16x. Negative 20x plus 4x is negative 16x. Okay, now I'm going to move all like terms to one side. So let's move all my x's to one side. Well, they're exactly the same, so pick one. I'm going to add 16x to both sides. And these two cancel out because opposites do that. When you add, bring down the 12, and then these two cancel each other out. So take a look at the statement that you end up with. 32 equals 12. All right, 32 does not equal 12. So when you end up with a false statement, this is not true, then that means there's no solution. This is not true, no solution. So we call this kind of equation a null set. That null means empty set. You can't solve this, there is no solution. Okay, so you could say no solution. Or you could draw a circle with a slash through it. That means no solution. Or you could actually draw an empty set. That's what a null set is, an empty set of numbers. There is no solution. So again, when you get a false statement, you can't solve it. You can't get an answer. That's no solution or one of these symbols. If you get a true statement, and then you're talking about an identity, which means it's infinitely many solutions or all real numbers. And then the last one, remember, is the one that we've been solving the most. When you can actually solve and get an answer, that is one solution. Okay, we will practice more tomorrow.